Hey guys, Cheese over here, kind of video today. Right, so someone suggested I play Maiden with the Eyes of Blue dragon thing, and someone else suggested Chaos Dragons, and I said that I hate Chaos Dragons, that Chaos Dragons are rapists, and while I can be a bit of a rapist in this game, Chaos Dragons are the bad kind of rapist, if that makes any sense at all. But if you get what I mean, like, I rape for the purpose of good. Like, I'm Batman. I beat up people, but I'm a good guy. But Chaos Dragons is the Joker, and you have to beat the Joker, unfortunately. So, anyway, I decided to take it upon myself to play the deck that I hate, so I made a very crappy build, and now that I played this build a little bit, I decided that I really don't like it. I think the extra deck is absolute cack. A lot of times I've wanted to go into certain levels of synchros or ranks that I don't have, or I haven't got room for. I keep forgetting I only have 40 cards in the extra deck. So anyway, it's got like a couple of blue eyes. Basically it mixes up the blue eyes deck, which has two blue eyes, three maidens, and it got a wonder wand. Then you combine it with the chaos dragons, which is three light pulsar, two Lila, an Eclipse Wyvern, the Lightsworn engine, and then I combine stuff like Dragon Shrine, because your first turn play you can go Dragon Shrine, dump Blue Eyes like Dragon, so you don't have to draw into it, and then you mill Eclipse Wyvern with its effect, so that you get to banish Red Eyes Darkness Mana Dragon, and then you banish the Eclipse Wyvern for Dark Winged Dragon Collapse Serpent, which is in your hand if you open up with that and Dragon Shrine. So that's the only play that I can really give. That's actually quite a decent play. These Collapse Serpent things are pretty decent. Wide Burst and Collapse Serpent, nice little floating engine. A bit like Tengu, but I don't know, maybe it's even better than Tengu in some ways because of the fact that it's got a much better attribute. But let's just see how the decks go and how they do. Right, so I've got a couple of duels for you to show on my replays. I have a Blue Eyes deck against Evols, and I have Blue Eyes against Inzektors. Now let's have a look at the Evols one. Right, so he opens up pretty nutty. I know Evols pretty well in and out because I used to play the deck when the deck was somewhat relevant back in those days. So I do the whole Wonder One Ways of Eyes of Blue play, and I had no idea what I was playing against, so I rammed into it. And realistically, it was the first misplay I made because realistically, you'd want to go main right, do the Wonder One play because if I hit a Raikou or I hit anything that destroys, then I would have lost a lot of cards. So realistically, I should have done this first. But fortunately, I managed to swing into something that wasn't too much of a problem. So anyway, I do the Wonder One play afterwards, and then I get two cards. So Volcano makes King of the Forest Imps. I Veiler it because I wanted to have another light target. I know that Veiler King of the Forest Imps is pointless. So yeah, moving on. He Dark Holes, which is pointless because I got that Blue Eyes Dragon for free. So Eclipse Wyvern smacks in. Obviously, I didn't have any idea that he had Drag Wyvern in his hand. So he draws into the Evil Force Varied Evolution, or whatever it's called, Evo Diversity combo, but he doesn't use it yet. He'd rather make a one-turn play. So I get to banish a Red MD from my deck, and he gets to make Dolka. Fortunately, I have enough stuff to bait it out, but Card Trooper mills free, and for some reason he changed Dolka and allows it to get destroyed, and then I get to draw, which is nice. And then Eclipse Wyvern, he negates that, so that's the bigger problem, but that's okay. So Light Pulsar hasn't got a target when it dies, but that's okay. It's a 2500. Evils have a bit of a problem getting over it. So he MSTs, and then he does the whole Evil Force play, but he does it in the wrong way. Diplo, realistically, if I hadn't chained Trap Stun, then Najesha would have resolved, summon Volcano, then Volcano would have got its effect. But because I did Trap Stun as Chain Link 3, because of Najesha's effect as Chain Link 2, that means I got to prevent Volcano from being able to special summon Serato from the graveyard. So he activates Najesha, I activate Trap Stun, and then it resolves that way. Volcano comes on the field, and then Diplo resolves. And he doesn't get to do anything, so it prevents him from doing stuff. So at this point I'm like, oh, my cards can't really help me at this point. The whole point of Star Bright Dragon, the one that's in my hand, you use it to target up a face-up card, so you can use it to target Maiden goes up to level 3, you get to special summon the Blue Eyes Red Dragon from your deck, bait up Bottomless, bait up whatever, and then you can go straight into a Black Rose Dragon, which is always nice. So you can pulse freeze my Lila for no reason whatsoever. He sets he doesn't set it? No, he doesn't set it. So he attacks me directly. I'm okay with taking that. I haven't taken any damage. Card Trooper comes to... I set Card Trooper because I thought the only way I'm going to get over this is if I just draw into my deck as much as possible. So he attacks the Card Trooper, doesn't do anything else. I knew by this point he obviously had a couple of dead cards in hand, something that he could use, maybe level 6 Evols or something like that. So Wonder made the Rider Blue play, gets over, so I can get over the Gem Knight. Obviously if he'd set these two before, then he'd be in a much better position by now. Right, so he draws Guiber, which is pointless, and I just attack with Blue Eyes to bait out as much as possible. So he de-prisons it, and I summon Lilo and pop the other one. So I mill a few more cards, and by this point I'm realising that my deck's getting quite thin, but not too thin. So I've got nothing to worry about. I completely forgot here that Guiber has not got a target for it in the deck. However, he could be playing Dirac Velo, which is a nice level 4. When it gets destroyed, you can summon Guiber from your decks, which is always nice. So I thought just to play safe, but generally people only play free Guiber, or I used to play free Guiber just for the consistency. So I made Queen Dragon Jin using Y-Burster and Starbright Dragon. So I use his effect to bring back that and get to ram over that. So on my next turn, I knew that I was going to have two very big monsters that Evols cannot get over. Until obviously the rank 4s come out, the Beelzebub, which is going to be a bit of a pain. So he draws into 2 Alias and he scoops up the game. Shit happens. And we're going to play Blue Eyes Chaos Dragons versus Inzektors. Now, by going by Furio without even looking at this replay, you would assume that Blue Eyes Chaos Dragons against Inzektors, Inzektors would probably have the advantage because of the popping. Blue Eyes Chaos Dragons have to blurt out their field a lot, like they puke onto the field. A lot of monsters use up their whole hand, like Hieratics kind of thing. Hieratics versus Inzektors, generally Inzektors would win that fight because they just keep popping everything. If you can OTK with Chaos Dragons, then you're in the good. But Inzektors had a good matchup against Chaos Dragons when Chaos Dragons and Inzektors were in the same format. So it was one of those like rock paper scissors formats where only certain decks could survive. So I did the typical Dragon Shrine combo where I sent Blue Eyes White Dragon and I sent an Eclipse Wyvern to the grave, so then I could banish Red Eyes from my deck. So I summoned Maiden because I know that Maiden is just nice sitting there. So he Night Beams, he's obviously got a cat hand. Look at that hand, it's disgusting. So I can't do anything either, so I just set whatever I can, and he does another Night Beam. So I'm thinking, what is this got? I don't know what he's playing. Obviously, because his name was Jaden95, I assume that he is slightly younger than me by 3 years, and that he probably plays Heroes. So I had no idea what he was playing, but I realised that because he's playing a 40 card deck, he might not be as bad as his name would suggest. So I flip up Raiko and get myself a +1 knight there, which is always nice. And this is an example where I don't have Claw Solace, which would be a nice way to synchro it, nice thing to synchro into. Obviously not right now because Inzektors would wreck it. But you know, Armageddon Knight mills the Inzektor Hornet. So there's not much you can do at this point. I've got 2 Veilers in my hand, which Veiler obviously against Inzektors is a fantastic card because when Inzektors were relevant, every deck had to main 3 Veiler because it kept Inzektors at bay, stopped them from topping YCSs. But if you didn't main 3 Veiler, then Inzektors would walk all over you with their 3 Hornets, 3 Dragonfly. The deck was absolutely ridiculous. So he wastes cards to try and prevent me from attacking. So I Dark Hole and Azure Eyes survives. This is the point where I'm glad I had Veiler because I knew that he could pop this card no problem, or run over it, I guess, if he had the right cards for it. So I activated Tefet and summoned Blue Eyes, and I knew that he was probably going to either Threatening Roar or Mirror Force me. So Call the Haunted set, doesn't really do anything with it, I don't know why. And I think he draws into an Armageddon Knight now, which is a nice little card. So I wanted to use up my Maxi here because I was going to MST his Call the Haunted, but I've realised that we'd much prefer to Maxi instead, just in case he tries to do something random with the last card in his hand. So I MST to stop his Thetcglover, so he gets the card back to his hand. I don't really care about because I've pretty much got all the cards I need in my hand by this point. So some of my eyes are blue, Starbright Dragon's effect, activate it, make it level 3. I don't actually use it to synchro, but yeah, so plow through that. And realistically, at this point, one thing that I realized is that Ancient Sacred Wyvern is a very good card in this situation. You know, it's the only situation where you'd possibly need it, but when you do need it, you know, in this situation I would have won. So that's it. Obviously the last card in my hand is Valor, so I knew that it doesn't matter what he does, he's going to summon the Dragonfly because it's the most optimal play considering that he's going to draw a second card. And I knew that I had the Valor for it, so I knew that I had won by this point. He knew that he had lost as well because he decides to suicide anyway. So Dragonfly, I Valor it, and there's nothing you can do, so he just battle phase rams straight into my Blue Eyes for game. So yeah, that is it. That's the only real situation where you'd see Chaos Dragons smash Inzektors, but realistically Valor's not always going to be around, and if you didn't have Valor in that situation I would have been in a lot more trouble than I would like to imagine. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed those couple of replays. I know that I have been bringing these replays in quick and fast, showing you different decks, but for the next couple of weeks I'll have to tone it down to maybe 1 or 2 videos a week, simply because it's the last couple of weeks of my semester and I have to focus on my work so I don't fail and I don't have to redo the year. I hope you can understand that kind of logic. So yeah, as I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment down below, and I'm going to quickly go back and look at other decks that people have suggested. I know that Gear Karakuri won YCS Turin, and that was an interesting little win there, so maybe I'll play that in the near future and show you guys what it's all about. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Until next time, the Thetcglover is out.